In the sleepy little village of Meadow Creek, nestled among rolling green hills, lived a dog named Buster. Now, Buster wasn't your typical brave and bold canine companion. In fact, he was known throughout the village as Buster the Bashful. He was a scruffy terrier mix with big, soulful eyes that seemed to hold all the worries of the world. He was afraid of his own shadow, startled by falling leaves, and would hide under the porch at the sound of a distant rumble of thunder. The village children would try to play with him, but Buster would just tuck his tail between his legs and scamper away. His owner, a kind old baker named Mr. Gable, loved him dearly but often sighed, wishing Buster had just a little more courage. Life in Meadow Creek was peaceful, almost too peaceful. The villagers went about their days, the children played in the fields, and the biggest news was usually Mrs. Higgins winning the annual pie baking contest. Buster spent most of his time napping in a sunny spot by the bakery's front door, his ears twitching at every little sound. He watched the other village dogs, like Rocky, the confident golden retriever, chase sticks and bark boldly at the mailman. Buster just couldn't understand where they got their bravery from. He felt like he was born without it. One crisp autumn evening, a strange quiet fell over Meadow Creek. The usual evening chorus of crickets and frogs was absent. An unsettling stillness hung in the air. Mr. Gable had just finished locking up the bakery for the night when he noticed it. The sky was an odd shade of orange, and a faint, acrid smell drifted on the breeze. He looked towards the dense woods that bordered the village and saw a menacing glow flickering against the treetops. A wildfire, and the wind was blowing it straight towards their homes. Panic erupted. The village bell rang out, its frantic clanging a stark contrast to its usual cheerful chime. Villagers poured out of their homes, their faces etched with fear. Shouts and cries filled the air as people started grabbing what they could, their peaceful lives suddenly thrown into chaos. In the midst of the confusion, Buster was terrified. He was trembling so hard his teeth chattered, and he did what he always did when scared. He tried to hide. He squeezed himself into the small space behind the flour sacks in the bakery storeroom, his heart pounding against his ribs. From his hiding spot, he could hear the rising panic outside. He heard the worried calls of parents searching for their children and the desperate shouts of people trying to organize a bucket brigade from the river. But through the noise, one sound cut through his fear like a knife. It was a faint, high-pitched whimper. Buster poked his head out. The sound was coming from near the edge of the woods, the very place everyone was running from. He recognized it instantly. It was the sound of Rocky's new puppies. Rocky and his owner were helping with the evacuation on the other side of the village, and in the chaos, the litter had been left behind in their doghouse. Dangerously close to the advancing flames, something shifted inside Buster. The whimpers of the helpless puppies seemed to drown out the roar of the fire in his ears. He saw their little faces in his mind, and for the first time in his life, a feeling stronger than fear took hold of him. It was a fierce, protective instinct. He couldn't just stay here and hide while they were in danger. Taking a deep breath that seemed to fill his small lungs with newfound courage, Buster bolted out of the storeroom. He ran past a shocked Mr. Gable, who called his name in surprise. But Buster didn't stop. He sprinted through the chaotic village square, a little brown and white blur, dodging panicked legs and dropped belongings. The heat from the fire was intense now, and smoke stung his eyes and throat. He could see the orange flames licking at the trees at the edge of the woods. The puppy's doghouse was right there, silhouetted against the terrifying blaze. His legs wanted to turn and run back to safety. His mind screamed at him to hide, but the whimpering grew louder, more desperate. He pushed onward. Reaching the doghouse, he saw the 5 tiny puppies huddled together, trembling and crying. He nudged the smallest one with his nose, then another, trying to coax them out. They were too scared to move. Thinking fast, Buster grabbed the edge of the blanket they were lying on with his teeth. With a mighty heave, he started dragging it, puppies and all, away from the fire and back towards the village. It was heavy, and every muscle in his small body screamed in protest. Embers rained down around him, singeing his fur, but he didn't let go. He dragged them across the field, his paws aching, his lungs burning. Villagers who saw him stopped in their tracks, their mouths agape. Was that Buster? Buster the Bashful. He ignored their stares, his focus entirely on the precious cargo he was pulling. He finally reached the relative safety of the village center and collapsed. Exhausted, just as Rocky and his owner came running, their faces pale with worry. They saw the puppies safe and sound, and then they saw Buster panting heavily beside them. By morning, with the help of firefighters from the next town, the blaze was under control. Much of the forest was gone, but Meadow Creek was saved. And the story of the night wasn't the fire. It was the incredible bravery of a little dog. Buster was no longer Buster, the Bashful. He was Buster the Brave, the hero of Meadow Creek. The children who once saw him as timid now looked at him with admiration. Rocky, the one unapproachable alpha dog, licked Buster's face in gratitude. And Mr. Gable, he couldn't have been prouder. He gave Buster the biggest, juiciest steak from the butcher shop. From that day on, Buster walked with his head held a little higher and his tail wagging a little more freely. He still got startled by loud noises sometimes, but he learned that courage wasn't about not being afraid. It was about being afraid and doing the right thing anyway. And in the heart of that small, timid dog, the villagers of Meadow Creek had found their greatest hero. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed Buster's story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming tales. We'll see you in the next one.